Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Behind me is the start of a cedar hedge. I bought these 3 trees 4 or 5 years ago at least, and they're on sale again. These cedar trees reduced from $50 down to $10. So I'm going to buy 4 of them so I can continue my hedge line, and I'm going to create a bonsai out of one of them. I have to keep my cedar hedge here kind of pruned back for the pathway. I can't let them get too tall or the shades out the benches here. So they I'll keep them pruned in sort of a, an angular form on this face. And off we go. I've got the truck fueled up, ready to head off to the nursery and pick out our trees. So we're almost there. I'm heading to Canadian Tire. They have a good plant selection, good nursery, so I get a lot of my bonsai from Canadian Tire. Here's the truck parked at Canadian Tire. It's looking a little dirty. I might have to go to the car wash, I think. So there's the garden center over here. Let's go have a look now. So here's the trees here. You can see how tall they are. Clearance, prices as marked, $10. That's awesome. So yeah, they're a good height. See how tall they are? As tall as me. Yeah, so they're as tall as me. Some of them look a little sadder than others, but so I'm going to look at trunks, trying to pick one that has good potential for bonsai if possible. Here's one that has like multi trunks. There's a big trunk and then another little one off to the side. Not really after a twin trunk. Here's another one. This one has some good low branches on it. Again, it has that low branch coming off the trunk down below. It's got a division here. You could prune the one off, grow the one as a leader to shorten the tree. It's a possibility. I'll pull it out. So I'm after 4 of them. I'll come in here. Here's another one with all kinds of multi-trunks. Yeah, there's a lot in there. So I don't know if there's one trunk that's really dominant or anything. They're all kind of equal size. Oh, there's the biggest one. Kind of a slanting. I don't really want that. You know me, I like my straight trunks. I'm beginning to load the cedars into the truck. So I picked 4. And I also got a little juniper down here. It was on sale for $12. It's got, where was it now? Here's where you can see it. It's kind of got a cool trunk on it. Everything's loaded up. 5 trees now. So, time to head home. So I think out of those 4, I'll be able to pick one for bonsai. Alright, we're almost home here. So I'll pull into the driveway, unload the trees, and I'm going to clean the trees up. There's a lot of dead foliage on them, so I got to get light in there so they can recover and maybe keep some of that lower branching, because I don't want to lose all my lower branches. It looks like the trees were just kind of all packed together, so they lost a lot of the branches on the side that was shaded out. Engine shut down. We'll start with the easy one. There. Okay. Here we go. That's gone. There's number 2. One more to go. Here's a look at what I bought today. So they are number 7 Brandon Cedar, Thuja occidentalis Brandon. Perfect item for an instant hedge, number 1 cold hardy hedging tree. Yeah, so that's what they are. My juniper over here is a Tamarix juniper, Juniperus sabina tamarisfolia, 100% Canadian grown, hardy to zone 2, so that's pretty cold. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. It looks really healthy. All the other junipers I bought on sale were the ones at the end of the year that didn't look so good. This one looks good and healthy, so I think it'll survive the winter, no problems. My first step on these new cedars is to clean them up. I want to get rid of any dead foliage on the interior so I can get light down to all these branches that are starving for light. Try and get them healthy, on all sides. It won't happen this year, but I just set it up to, get light down there. And maybe I'll get some branches growing down below. And I'll have to pick out the one I'm going to use for bonsai. From the picture on the label, it looks like they grow kind of columnar, so very tall, which is good for bonsai if you're trying to create like an old growth looking tree. I'm going to start by removing the discs down here. If I can, they're kind of decomposing. Oh, the roots have grown into them. You can see all the roots below. So I don't know. I'll try and get them off because I need to clean up the base of the tree. There, it didn't really come off in one perfect piece, but kind of untangling some of these branches, which were kind of interwoven a bit. I'll also give them some water and fertilizer. They probably haven't been fertilized for the entire summer, I'm guessing. Tree number 3 here is a good candidate for a cathedral style tree. You can see it has a really thick trunk in here. Comes up and then it divides into multi upright branches here. Kind of forms a cathedral crown to the tree, so it could be shortened, quite dramatically. So that would be a good choice for a cathedral style with this one. And you know how I love my cathedral style trees. Now comes the hard part, picking out one tree to develop as a bonsai. So let's look at each one. So this one has multiple trunks. The main trunk is very thick and has some, good, significant other trunks. So if I was to make a clump style, this would definitely be the choice. And it's got lots of branches as we go up the tree, so they could be shortened dramatically once the bottom half becomes healthy. The next tree has the thickest trunk. It's more of a single trunk. This is the one I was thinking would be good for a cathedral style tree. So it has a very short, stocky trunk. It comes up and then starts branching. So again, once this foliage here becomes healthy, the whole tree could be reduced, at least in half. The next tree has a good strong single trunk, another trunk coming off to this side, and kind of a double trunk off the thickest one. So again, sort of a clump style, sort of an instant triple trunk forest there. And then the last one, again, it has two very strong trunks growing beside each other, and they almost kind of intertwine a bit. They don't really touch, but there's a narrow gap between the trunks, which would make a really interesting style, having the two trunks that close together, and then it divides up into, you know, a sort of a cathedral style top on it. So again, really interesting trees, all of them, and they each have their own potential. So it basically comes down to, what style do I want? So now I have to decide, what style do I want to grow as a bonsai? That clump style over here, the cathedral style, and some other clump styles. I'm kind of leaning towards the thickest trunk one here, the single trunk coming up to the cathedral style. The bark on it is very young right now. It's almost smooth, but that'll roughen up quickly with age. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards this one. It's the most dramatic looking. It certainly has the most thickest and powerful trunk, and it has a lot of potential for shortening the tree. You know, at least half the original height, if not more. So that's the one I'm leaning towards. I won't make my decision right now, but that's what I'm thinking. Might as well take advantage of the giant trunk on that one for $10. I'll give the trees their water and fertilizer now, and then I'll go on to finishing the greenhouse. Okay, some fertilizer, about that much, in with the water. It's starting to rain. All right, here I go with the water and fertilizer. Oh, it's starting to rain quite hard now. Hopefully it won't flush all my fertilizer out of the soil. Okay, there's number 2 done. I've got all 4 of the new cedars watered and fertilized. The rain continues to come down, so I'm going to take a short break for lunch, and then I'll come back and start assembling these benches inside the greenhouse where it's nice and dry. I'm back from lunch, and I'm working on replacing the hardware on the benches with the stainless steel bolts that I bought yesterday. The next bench is just outside here, so I'll bring it in and get that bolted up too. I noticed that the second bench didn't have any hardware on it, the hardware that fits into these T-slots on the vertical walls. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. I'll have to either find that hardware somewhere or drive all the way to Brantford and pick up some more. That's too bad. But I'll get the bench in here anyway. In it comes. Whoops. I just hit my new trees with it. All right, I'll have to set it over here. Careful. All right, well, I'll set the table up so I can kind of get it in the air. I was looking around. I had some of those special bolts in the 3 legs for the other side, so that was 3. I found 2 more in the hardware bag, and I took one off of another place on the greenhouse and replaced it with a regular nut and bolt. So I now have just enough of these things to attach the bench to the side wall. So that's good. Careful, careful, Nigel. Okay, and now I'll come underneath here. Oh, it's pretty dirty on this edge. I better clean that. That's the trouble with leaving things outside on the ground. When it rains, everything gets covered in mud. That's pretty good. I think I can attach if I lift this up now. Maybe a bonsai pot. A nice mica one. Okay, come on here. that helps. Bench number 2 is bolted in place now. So I've just got to add the legs here, and then I'll have to figure out what I want to do, you know, to put support underneath the legs to get them up to the right height and all that. I've got the legs for the second bench in place now. So all I need for those to finish the benches off is some supports underneath the legs. So I'll have to find some and figure out what I'm doing there. But I think the next priority is to get the doors in so I can at least close this up at night and keep it a little warmer. I've got the track for the door out. So the door fits in here, runs along. So this bolts up right above here. You can see there's a hole up there, screws in the middle, and a hole at the end. So I'll put that up next. Before I mount the rail for the door, I have to put this aluminum flashing up. I'll show you where that goes. So all the glass gets this flashing that runs down, and that holds it securely in place, so even if the putty failed, the glass wouldn't fall out. So I've got to do the roof, the walls, but before I get the doors in, I have to do all around where the door frame mounts up here, or the rail. So I've got to do all the flashing around this end. So I'll do that first. The sun is out right now, but it's raining fairly hard out. Kind of funny looking. My roof is getting covered in pine needles. That white pine up there is shedding all its needles. So I'll have to wait till the rain stops before I can go outside and do all that trim work. It says on the tag for the cedars, it says H2O, essential for success. So I've watered and fertilized these trees today, plus they've gotten rained on a couple of times. So I think they have enough water for one day. I'm not sure how long the rain is going to last tonight. I had fun today picking out the 4 $10 trees from the nursery, and I got that little juniper too. I think I'll have to finish the trim maybe tomorrow and get the doors on tomorrow. So that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.